South Korea says it's still not received a response from North Korea to its offer of medical help to deal with the massive COVID-19 outbreak. 63 people are now known to have died and 2 million have fallen sick in what Pyongyang calls a fever. The North confirmed its first COVID infection a week ago. Leader Kim Jong-un has deployed the military and imposed nationwide lockdowns. It is believed that the actual number of infections may be even higher due to a lack of testing and a reluctance among health workers to report cases.
North Korea seems to be treating the death toll more importantly than the number of confirmed virus cases. According to official reports from North Korea, the number of deaths is very low compared to the number of confirmed cases. What can be inferred from this is that the North Korean authorities are now concerned about the growing number of deaths, and the number of reported virus cases could be lower than the actual number of confirmed virus cases.
Our Rise correspondent Lape Olarinoye joins us now from London for more on this. Lape, thanks so much for joining us. The Omicron variant is certainly ravaging the isolated country. What more do we know?
Good afternoon to you. Well, what we do know so far is that the death toll continues to rise, albeit quite slowly, according to the figures that we're getting from the North Korean government. So far, 63 people have died, but the number of people who are showing symptoms, which they're describing as a fever, seems to be increasing. So far, over the last couple of days, that number of infectious cases has gone up to just over 200,000 people. In a country of 25 million, that's a significant number. So it does seem to be spreading quite quickly. Despite this, there is a countrywide lockdown. People are encouraged to stay indoors and not mix at all, and that seems to be curbing, the number of deaths. But yet the information is still so flimsy because we don't know if it's accurate. There's a reduced amount of testing facility available to the people of North Korea, and also the deaths aren't being recorded as COVID-19 deaths. So there is still a lot of uncertainty around those figures, and it could change. It has changed drastically since we first started reporting it to the picture that is happening in North Korea today.
Well, Lape, it seems like a very tough time lies ahead for North Korea. Is there any indication of them accepting international assistance?
Well, so far, it's an interesting question you asked there. So far, there is no indication of them accepting any help. South Korea has been offering a number of vaccines to the country that doesn't currently have a vaccination program. And so far, there hasn't been a response from the North Korean government. Similarly, there's said to be flights from China to North Korea delivering medical supplies and aid. But there's no sort of indication of whether or not they have fully accepted any kind of vaccines or anything close to testing supplies or anything like that. So far, the reports that we are getting is that they're only accepting kind of masks and other medical supplies. Having said that, North Korean government has really bolstered their production of syringes, of salt for kind of saline solution, and have bolstered up their overall supply of movement of supply of food and water and that kind of thing. But so far, there is just no indication of whether they're going to be accepting outside help. It's unlikely, looking at the history of the country, but only one can really tell if the country is brought to its knees, whether or not they will accept that help.
All right, talk to us. What has been the North Korean response so far to all of this?
Well, so far, it's still the same old kind of isolatory tactics that the North Korean government are used to imploring. So far, we know that we've seen videos from KCNA, the state television broadcaster in North Korea, showing Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un berating his officials for not acting quickly enough and for acting as what he's described immaturely. And so far, he has deployed military personnel to aid the supply and movement of food. He's imposed a national lockdown, and people aren't allowed to work close together and in groups. Whether or not that's taking an effect on the number of cases or the number of deaths is too early to say. But so far, there hasn't been kind of international help, despite the kind of pressure from the WHO and there hasn't been any kind of active medical aid. Instead, people are resorting to traditional medicine like drinking willow leaf tea and gargling salt water, and even worse, taking antibiotics to solve a viral problem. A viral problem as opposed to bacterial. So there seems to be, a lot of self-imposed action from North Korea as opposed to wider assistance.
Arise correspondent Lape Olarinoye, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.